Kauai. I'm Lamatashi. We do this class every Thursday night, 6 to 8, and it is zoomed worldwide. Recorded it on our website for those on the other side of the planet at kawaidharma.org. If you need any information concerning any of these classes, you can email Abby at abby@aloha.net or call me at 808-652-0551. Now, I have been getting a lot of input from people here in Hawaii and many other places on the planet who are Dharma practitioners. And of course, they're very much concerned not only for themselves, but their family, friends, lovers, and business associates. Because of this global situation caused by global warming, COVID-19, and the response to racial injustice, especially here in America, but that is too is a global problem. What it creates socially, and of course, individually, is anxiety. And anxiety is a mental state caused by inner and outer circumstances. We use the term loosely karma. But a lot of what's going on doesn't seem to be an individual karmic event. It's totally being controlled by outside forces. But who caused this to take place? Each of these events that I'm talking about. We humans. So yes, it's karma. And yes, we're the cause. But you can use the Dharma practice of meditation and the other bodhisattva tendency or training to treat your mental disorder, however it arises, which we call it emotional conflicting mental events. And conflicting is the best word, conflict. This idea of entertaining fear is not necessary for the Dharma students because the fear itself is an emotional event, just like anger and forms of desire and arrogance, we say pride and jealousy. But all of this is simply the ignorance of not knowing that there's no such thing as mind. But that doesn't compute because mind is the basis of everything that exists. But the way we entertain the mind, the way we engage the mind, universally and individually, is not sustainable. Just like tourism is no longer a sustainable event. And anybody that's involved in tourism is finding that out, the airlines, the car companies, and so forth. But what we need to do, besides find antidotes for this state of anxiety that's arising over this, is also find for ourselves sustainably, ecologically sound ways of producing what we need. Money being the bottom line. And being sustainable seems to me not independent, but totally interconnected and interdependent, so that we have everybody's well-being as our motivation, but also as whatever kind of occupational situation we find ourselves endeavoring to support ourselves, families, friends. Dharma centers need support, of course. All the monks and nuns in monasteries and retreats, they are pretty much self-supporting because they do this lockdown thing all the time. So I'm going to read a little bit about how to deal with anxiety. The result of which is fear and depression, which are very, very dangerous and not at all necessary or sustainable. This applies not only for anger, but for all other negative emotions and emotional events. We put these in categories of attachment, jealousy, pride, stupidity, desire, and so forth. Luckily, the emotions by nature have no concrete existence. Now, right there, I have this picture of this female Buddha, Prajnaparamita, and everything that we do in Tibetan Buddhism, she exemplifies by one simple, short line disclaimer. Form, body, form, any kind of form, whatever arises in the mind or outside in the world, is voidness, is sunyata in Tibetan, is an illusion. And Prajnaparamita is the basis of one of the most famous sutra texts that we practice called the Heart Sutra. And it evolved from a text that's, one of these kind, about this thick, 400,000 stanzas on form and emptiness, applied to everything you can think of. And to everything that might happen to a human being in this era, this age. So form is emptiness, emptiness is form. But these mental events that create this anxiety based on what's going on in the world around us with our loved ones and with the ecology of the planet is what's producing it. But all your emotions have this same theme. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Now, in meditation, you've trained the mind to use the imaginary process and the ability to focus single-pointedly on one thing. Most people can't do that. Cannot. 9/10% of the people on this planet cannot do that. They have grown so that their body is doing one thing, their mind is doing another thing, and their speech is doing something else. And those three, along with all the distractions that are in place inside and outside, prevent them from being able to settle into a state of nirvanic peace. And without being able to do that, those continue on in this life and the next life and the life after that and so forth. And that's not satisfactory. So we, as bodhisattvas, having trained it, must understand that every single mental event, anger, desire, jealousy, arrogance, being so proud and ignorance itself are all empty of existence. So if I put these in perspective according to Trenggu Rinpoche, who has the monastery in Vancouver, Canada, Richmond, I'll read what he says. By maintaining meditative concentration on whatever arises in the mind, specifically these emotional events, one merely follows the patterning of the emotion. That means to simply look at it, isolate it. And in this case, we're talking about anxiety, which is fear, producing fear. Then as Buddhas, we prevent them from becoming poisonous simply by not being caught up in the emotion's energy or program. This causes things to get worse if one does this. However, by simply looking into and recognizing that the emotions are already devoid of any kind of existence, they will vanish on their own accord, which is what thoughts do. They arise from space, they present themselves in time, and they disappear. And if it's so disturbing that you can't stand it, then you simply have to take the time to look at that disturbance, that kind of distortion, which is the anxiety producing, resulting in fear and depression, the opposite. Now, depression and fear and anxiety completely disable your immune system. Completely. Therefore, that makes you more prone to whatever kind of disease or virus or antagonistic energy that's going on around you outside. More prone. So this is just as important as eating foods that are not chemically prepared or what we call unsustainable. This is simply the same as not exercising. This is the same as not keeping your weight down in control, and so forth. Because we all have the same conditioned existence of aging, sickness, and dying. And we want to do that in a state of good health. So finally, he says, we also have a problem with the God realms and the demonic spirit world. Now, I'm going to add to that before I read this little excerpt. The God realms come in two flavors. Those that are what we call the religious, the highly evolved realms of desire, the realms of infinite light, and the realms of voidness or space. But there's another God realm that we have on this planet that is really the cause of American bad karma, and it's called the demigod realm. And this is made up of men and women who idolize demonic apparitions of war, environmental destruction, and now what we're experiencing, the spread of toxin, poverty, and every kind of disease. But they exist because we say they do. And some people have the right fortitude, the right makeup. They can actually see them. They can witness these kinds of beings, just like we can see all the animals in the ocean, on the land, and some that are in our body. But there's the other apparition that appears is demonic spirits, and they take our energy. They control the virus. They control earth, water, fire, and air. They are demigods of the harmful, most harmful. And we're antagonizing them with our lifestyles on this planet as human beings, to the point where we're being shut down. No antidote in sight, a completely dysfunctional medical system, and from the top down, everybody's giving the wrong advice. They're guessing. We used to use the term in the 60s, everybody's guessing. Well, you can see that's what's happening. To make it short about this thing about animals, about gods, religious and otherwise, or demigods, war gods and war goddesses, or demonic spirits that are intentionally harmful and can be summed up by forms of sorcery and other weird ways. This is what it said. When the Buddha talked about gods and goddesses and magical displays of spirits and so forth, even though they are visible to some people, particularly those who have bodies with particular constitution of having created channels and energy systems within it so that they are very sensitive and alert to these beings, And some people not seeing anything unusual or simply not afraid of anything. In this situation, in this case, they are not being nervous about being harmed or influenced by these guards or demons. But for the ordinary person, they feel something bad is going to happen or is happening to them individually and collectively. When this occurs, one should simply stop whatever they are doing, which is what the planet is doing, and look into the very essence of the dread, the fear, the anxiety arising from these occurrences. And by looking very carefully into the very essence of their own dread, they might discover that actually these beings, or gods and demons and all of that, are simply the arising of our own fear, which subsides by seeing the identity of the fear as being non-existent. And from that point, it carries through all of that religious connotation about gods and demons. So you got to go to square one. You got to go to the fear itself, produced by the anxiety of overly stimulated mental events that you are connecting to. Withdraw. That's what we're doing. We've withdrawn. Buddhists use the term retreat. You know, I had to do it when I was 35 years old, even though I was top of the food chain. All I did is went into a 40-month retreat. I built a 40-month retreat, and they said you got to be in it, and I needed a vacation, so I did it. Wonderful. Very, very few people have that kind of weird karma. But the result is that you take time out for your own self every day, half an hour, 1 hour, look at your own mental process. And like the Buddha energy field that you are creating within your mind, Prajnaparamita appears. These are real entities, just like all of your emotional conflicts are to you real. But they only exist so that your mind can change from its preoccupation, emotional preoccupation with your body and the world around you, into a state of complete clarity, bliss, where there is no emotional preoccupation, there is no judgment. You don't have to say things are good or bad or high or low, or you're not knowing anything. Because in this other state of your own consciousness, which exists in every sentient being, you're already that. And all of the Dharma, Wisdom Mother, Dharma, is about that. That said, I was going to read the next few paragraphs, but let's meditate. Meditation in Tibetan Buddhism is shamanistic, and it follows two lines of training, Sutra and Tantra. All of the lamas, men and women who teach the Dharma, all are trained in these two functions of mind training. They come into three aspects, and every aspect and every method that we use, every kind of practice, supports every other kind of practice and method. But they all have the same theme. And the first part of the theme is that everything is done for everybody else. Everything you're doing, it's called puja. Everything you're doing in practice is for the benefit of all the men, women, spirits, animals in the entire universe, wherever they appear. That's called the altruistic motivation. If you don't have that, you're not a Tibetan Buddhist. And all the shamanistic practices in the world won't work. Number two, you need to have support by a guide. You have your inner guide, which is intuitive awareness, which develops from practice. Women are better at that, of course. And you have the outer support of the teachers, lamas, and their symbols. And all of this is called the wish-fulfilling jewel because that's what it does. And if you have confidence in it, which they call devotion, honor, and trust, then it works. Simple as that. And you don't have to have confidence to start with, but if you practice, it'll arise naturally because you're going to get good results. That's called the support. Then the third part is actual practices were based on Bodhisattva training. So this is Bodhisattva Training School to learn to become a mature human being, which we call Buddha. So I'm going to read the altruistic motivation. I'm going to say the altruistic motivation in Sanskrit, not only because of the power of the Sanskrit language, but it communicates it to the spirits which are in need of knowing that we're their friends. Dag dang jowa namke da dang yamte semchem tamche dudine junte shisi jangchu ningpo la chi ki bardu. In Canadian, in order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now, all together, in union, take refuge and offer prostration. Now, taking refuge is the second part. That becomes our support. The three jewels are the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. All the symbols are the Lama deities and Dakinis, protectors. That altogether carries us swiftly to maturity. Alden Mama Dampa Namla Chapsu Chio Yidam Chokorgi Latso Namla Chapsu Chio Sanjay Cho Dende Namla Chapsu Chio Dampe Chur Namla Chapsu Chio Dampe Chur Namla Chapsu Chio Pawo Kandro Chokyo Sume Sho Yesheki Shendang Dempa Namla Chapsu Chio. In the six Bodhisattva perfections of practice. Sanjay Chodang Choki Chodam La Jangshu Bardu Dagni Chapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Jipe Sonam Pi Jola Benjur Sanjay Jubar Sho. In the altruistic motivation, I mentioned prostration. This method of prostrations brings the body, speech, and mind together in yoga. Either in sutric or tantric practice, they're absolutely necessary. But more importantly, they keep you in a physical state of good health, in good condition. Because in order to do a prostration, lay down and stand up, you have to use almost every muscle in your body. At the same time, your mind is in union with the body because you're visualizing the refuge tree in front with all the support, lamas, deities, protectors, and so forth. But most importantly, you're saying this refuge prayer that I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, the lamas, the deities, and the protectors, Dakini, while you're laying down and standing up for the benefit of all sentient beings, which is the motivation. So it puts it all together. And if you do 111,111 prostrations, I want to tell you, you'll die healthy. which is, which I advise is very worthwhile.
How many did you used to do a day?
Well, you start out with only 50, maybe, or maybe 21. Depends on your age and your physical condition. You don't want to stress yourself. You know, there's all kinds of yoga, like Ashtanga yoga. You don't want to stress yourself. That stuff can mess you up. So just like that, these prostrations, laying down and standing, you can do them at any age. I got kids doing them and people 90 years old doing them. Me, I'm 82. I'm still doing it. Of course, I'm out diving in the ocean every day also. But this technique is the most powerful practice of the foundation of all the Sutra and Tantra.
How many did you used to do a day?
Abby wants me to brag a little. Well, my Dakini girlfriend at that time named Jaldi, and I started off doing about 50 a day. Then the next week we did 100 a day because Lama Rinchen said for the first month or two increase by 100 a day each week, add 100 more. Because we were in good shape. We were farmers, gardeners, house builders. We could do anything. And he knew that. He could see that. And gardening, you know, all that. So we liked it so much that we actually, it took over our lifestyle to the tune we were doing 5 or 6 hours a day of prostration, averaging about 300 or 400 an hour. And that went on for a year. And of course, Jaldi, being the woman she was challenging me. I can do more than you can. I did 2,000 and you only did 1,500. Just like kids, you know. But when you go into a 40-month retreat, you have to be able to do those prostrations for 2.5 hours, 4 sessions a day. That's
Wow.
10 hours a day doing prostration in 40-month retreat. Now, 40-month retreat is outside the box, off the chart. Everything about it. 3 years, 3 months, 3 days of 28-day practice session. Now, when we get back to the foundation practice, we are chanting the refuge chair in either English or practice. So if we say it in Canadian, English, it goes like this. We go for refuge to all glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the idams, the deities gathered in our mandala. We go for refuge to all Buddhas. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma, Sutra and Tantra. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha, those who teach and practice. We go for refuge to the Dakinis and Dakinis, protectors and defenders of the Dharma. All of these that I just mentioned possess the eye of transcending awareness, which means they're beyond the eye of emotional conflict. They're not judging anything. They've removed judgmental mind. That's the eye of transcending awareness. That's enlightenment. So whatever little practice you ever do every day, you're enlightened. You're on the way to becoming a mature human being. There's nothing better than that. The next life, it's the same thing. Yes, it might be in the spirit world, but you'll be human in the spirit world. And if you come back into the human condition on some planet, someplace in this infinite universe, you'll be a bodhisattva.
How can you be human in the spirit world?
By not being emotional.
Oh, okay.
All the spirit world is produced by pride, jealousy, anger, desire, and ignorance, and a touch of greed here and there. The whole spirit world. And everything that's going on these planets is 99% spirit control. We have a little bit of influence, but not much. Animals, not much. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this Supreme Assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment, which means to reach maturity. May I, through merit gained from practicing the 6 Bodhisattva disciplines, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. That takes you back to square one, the altruistic motivation. Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodnam Wan Jang Shu Bardu Dagni Chapsu Chi Nagi Jinso Ji Pe Sonam Ki Jola Penjur Sanjay Tu Par Sho. To the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Lama, deity, and protectors, I go for refuge until I bring every sentient being, my mother, to maturity. Burn that into your mind, and after a while, it's there 24/7. And then everybody you meet, everybody you see on the news, read about in the paper, have influence with in your lifestyles, that becomes your Sangha. All the spirits become your retinue, your support, instead of your nemesis. And fear, abandoned. The lamas, all the lamas, are example of fearlessness. Their greatest gift to the world is teaching fearlessness. Now we'll do Tara practice. We'll start with the 5 elements practice, the 3 light meditation of the breath. Then we evolve into the 5 Taras, complete each one because I was requested by many people to use this elemental chart and the 5 Dhyana Buddha wisdom aspects of our consciousness as the theme tonight. And as we go through this, we'll explain this. When doing the 5 elements, whatever element you pick has an explanation what that does. It's a healing program. Tonight we're going to use the karma family element of air. Karma means action. This is a Dakini symbol used to relatively deal with the healing of the physical form body we possess. The karma family is headed by the action of the Buddha Amalgasiddhi, but it is the Tara family symbol of green Tara, which is all Tara. It's about compassion, power, and insight. It affects your speech more than anything. It's based on volition, which means movement, action. The element is air, in the direction of this energy program, as we say, the northern direction. The air element brings enjoyment, auspicious activity, removes obstacles, and suppresses wrathful activity, such as, in our case here in Hawaii, hurricanes. It also involves the sensual perception of hearing because of the sound, the vibration. It's a vibration. That's what we're activating. The seed syllable is yam, and the result is prana, chi, increasing in the body to the point where it actually starts to regenerate or reform the DNA. And then the channels and winds and all of that start to develop through the sutra and tantra practice. Back straight, hands in a comfortable position on the knees or in the lap, mouth closed, head tilt a little bit, eyes slightly open. Place your gaze about 2 feet in front, space light right there. Breathe. Bring your focus and your awareness to your breath. When you breathe in, if you can, through your nose, If not, mouth slightly open. Deep down to the diaphragm. Inhale, diaphragm expands. Exhale, diaphragm contracts. Then you start the tantric practice of using your imagination and visualizing the air coming in as white light, completely filling your lungs. The energy absorption of the air is all the elements, and the energy of that passes through every cell in your body, and you visualize that as red light. So you're lighting up your body with red light. Every cell, every atom, every germ. Bring these two together and exhale blue light out your nose to space as a powerful healing breath to the benefit of every being who inhabits space we call our universe. You can take this practice with you wherever you go, under any circumstances. I use it for snorkeling, which is good practice. The benefit of focusing on the breath is it disconnects you from worldly activities and the anxiety connected with those activities, and helps you to allow into a state of calm abiding, peace and tranquility. That state of nirvanic joy becomes the basis of all the sutra and tantra practice, but most importantly, for this practice of the 5 elements healing method. Take your focus off the breath and bring the 3 lights, the white, the red, and the blue, together into a particle in your heart center. Keep your focus there and simply allow it to disappear into the boundless light of the infinite fabric of space. Contemplate space. Everything comes from space, everything returns to space, like our sky. Like that, you again reinvent the particle and expand it into your imagination till it forms a small sphere of clear light. This is to introduce you to entering into the 3rd dimensional reality we call our universe. The space where you are contemplating is the ultimate reality of the all-pervasive nature of your mind. Holding your focus on this small sphere, start to expand it until it creates the symbol of air we are going to use for healing as a half sphere of green light about the size of your thumbnail. And it looks like this. Then move it from your heart center, your heart mind, this chakra energy center you are creating out in front of your body and up before your eyes where you had a soft gaze, focusing 2 feet in front. And imagine it to grow in size large enough so that you can see your body just as you are sitting inside, like a large room. Receiving psychically the full healing energy of the element air, which is what keeps you alive. No air, you're dead in the body. So now you're in the reality of light itself because everything that you are experiencing is that nature. The half sphere symbol, your body, the world around you, is simply an illusory perception. But since you are controlling it with your focus and your imagination, you will receive a beneficial effect. Trust to that. Expanded in size, sharing this reality of the half sphere of green light labeled air to completely enclose this island of Kauai and surrounding ocean. And to those that are watching, the city, town, or area, large area where you are meditating, inside the half sphere. Keep imagination and focus together, expanded in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including your air atmosphere. Expanded in size to completely enclose the solar system, which we are completely dependent on for life support with the planets and the sun. All of that inside this symbol of air. Then expanded in size to enclose our spiral disc-shaped galaxy. Then go beyond the confines of your conceptually, emotionally created state of consciousness called mind into the reality of all pervasive mind of space. No meditation, no symbol. Simply contemplate boundless space. If it stays green because of the color code of the air symbol, that's okay. But actually, space is clear of any kind of code, symbol, and its nature is voidness. We use this in this meditation as the source of the life force of everything we are doing in this practice, but most importantly, to accommodate our mind to this infinite quality which we all possess, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And as I mentioned before, we apply it to the emotions to dissipate the anxiety of entertaining those emotional conflicting thoughts or productions. Then return from the spatial conceptual state to the relative of, again, visualizing the half sphere enclosing the galaxy. Sharing this psychic energy with everything and everyone that exists in that home galaxy. Reduce it in size to just enclosing our solar system. Shrink it and direct the energy to just enclosing with the half sphere green light Mother Earth and her atmosphere. Then to the island, city, town, or area where you live and practice inside. Then tinier and tinier to just enclosing your body, bringing the full life force of the entire universe fully directed into your physical situation. Then finish the practice by regenerating this symbol in front of your eyes about the size of your thumbnail. Bring it to chest level and into your heart chakra, heart mind. Reduce it down to a tiny sphere of clear light and keep reducing until it becomes a tiny particle merging with the infinite light of boundless space. No meditation. Relax. Simply be present in the moment. Be in this moment present. No gods or demons here. You're experiencing the state of the natural mind you were born with. Bring this awareness to in front of your eyes and expand it into your area, your room or area of practice. Dedicate the merit to all sentient beings, your mother. Air. I can breathe. All lives matter, etc., etc. This Bodhisattva martial arts training program that we are called Dharma, using Sutra and Tantric practice, is based on good health. It is totally a health program, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And it treats the degeneration of the process of aging, sickness, and the event of leaving the body. It lessens and reverses those effects in some cases. And that's okay, but that doesn't mean it's going to stop it. So, yes, you can live to be 110, like the Dalai Lama says, oh, I'll probably live to 108, 110, 113. But in the next breath, he tells you, well, at the same time, I must keep in mind that I don't know which comes first, my next breath or my next life. So you got this duality going. It is and it is not. But the path of skillful means, we call it Tibetan Buddhist Sutra and Tantric practices, are based on the mother principle of growth, development, and evolution. And they're based on the mother's advice to her only child that that's what she wants that individual to grow up, develop, and evolve into a beautiful human being. Kind and considerate of everyone and everything. And that's what we're learning right now on this planet today. And there's a lot of people that just won't do that. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Tara Tutari Ture Soha. Those two on the shrine behind, I've got Tara over my right shoulder and Chenrezig over my left shoulder. In Prajnaparamita's right hand, the sutra text of the Heart Sutra is held. And that emphasizes the modality of the Chenrezig, the male aspect interplaying with the mother principle of the universe, with Tantra. And he uses this symbol of the 5 elements, 5 spokes coming together, and 5 states of spiritual awareness to bring one to maturity as connecting in your heart chakra. So they have this little center point. That's right here. It's the one we just used with the symbol of the air element. So this is Vajrayana Buddhism. This is a Vajra. Vajra means indestructible. If you get this, you're going to suffer from immortality. You're going to be a bodhisattva for a long time. No end in sight. Because that's the way the universe is. There's no beginning, middle, or end. Your mind has no beginning, middle, or end. They both neither exist or don't non-existent. But they are in 5 states of awareness, of unity, activity, clarity, equality, and discerning that unconditional existence is better than conditioned. And that word unconditioned must apply to everything you think of, love being the first and most important product of human consciousness, unconditional love. Then the activity of the Bodhisattva is using that as the compassion for infinite sentient beings, that they all together become Buddha, mature, all. So when you do the green tar, we're going to take the influence of that color green code which we just did with the air element, and make that the symbol of the Tara. And I have a symbol to remind me that we're doing Tara practice, of Tom. Now it looks like a letter 5 with a kind of an extended line on this side, which you can have or not have, with a dot over it, or sometimes a sun and moon. But this is T, A at the very base, which is sound of energy, M, Tom, T-A-M. It is the sound or vibration of all of the elemental energy of the entire universe, pervading space. So all the earth, water, fire, and air pervading space is summed up in this. Then all the aspects of that mother principle, the galaxy, the solar system, the area where you live, and your body, are all in that mother principle, like a mother's unconditional love for her only child. Is the best way to put it. That's Prajnaparamita. Using Sutra and Tantra together in meditation, she has two hands in the lap in the Buddha posture of Amitabha Buddha of infinite light. She emanates from that as a stainless mirror of the mind to produce this effect. Her head is surrounded by a blue sphere. That means everything is interconnected. That's the Aksabhaya Buddha field. That's the Lama over my right shoulder, right there. When we do the Tara practice, we do the mantra, this symbol in the heart center, surrounded by a 5-color sphere of light. And we become one aspect of the mother principle using the green Tara. Now, why do we start with the green? Because that's the life support system of this planet, air. And all of this is about support and the quality of life. So when we meditate, like on prostrations, you bring the three together. So the Tom becomes a creation vibration of the totality of everything as producing the rainbow body of Tara in place of your ordinary body. And as I said before, she's right there. And she's an aspect of this, Prajnaparamita, which sits above her head. When you do that, then you project that Tara image, rainbow body of Tara, to your mother who created you. You must know that. Nothing else in this universe created you. Your mother created you. My mother burned that into my brain. She was a wisdom Dakini. But knowing that makes the Tara practice softer. Then the unconditional love becomes altruistic compassion when you apply that not only to the mother that created you, but to all the mothers in the entire universe, your relatives, your friends, your lovers, your pets, your business supports, your adversaries, your enemies are all in your purpose for life. Then you add the 8 billion humans that are on the planet today. They say it's going to start to decrease, but we'll see. As Tara, then you add all in your mandala, in your mind, all the Taras become all the animals in the ocean and on the land, those that are left. But they're still infinite in number. And then you increase your mandala to the whole universe of spirits. The 6 categories of spirits, all emotionally created energy field. The 2 in the heavens and the 2 in the lower realms are infinite in number. plus all those that inhabit your body and everything on this planet to the core of the planet, to the center. So the mandala is complete in your mind, and it creates the mantra, Om Tara, Tu Tari, Ture Soha. Om means all light gathered as support into you. Ta, Ra, means powerful wisdom mother. Tu Tari means swiftly dissipating any kind of obstacle, fear being the worst. Then once that's dissipated, then anger and desire and jealousy and stupidity and bewilderment and depression and all that. Then Soha is tacked onto the end of the Om Tara Tu Tari Ture mantra, Ture being the sound of obstacles to practice and to life and to good health and happiness, obstacles. Soha means equally applied to every being in the universe. Whatever virtuous activity you're doing, that's the way a mother is for her only child. That's the unconditional application of Om Tara Tu Tari Ture Soha. So now we do that. We start with the three lights breathing and add the three Buddha fields that we are purifying, Om, Ah, and Hum. Compassion, power, and insight. Clarity, wisdom, and voidness, and so forth. So the Lama in front is our guide, the one that gives the sutra or tantra practice, initiation, and guidance, and how to do it, what and why. When you inhale white light and fill your lungs, you hear the sound Om. As this energy of the five elements pervades every cell in your body, you hear the sound Ah. Then with that red light and white light energy together going out your nose is blue light as a healing breath to every being in the universe and to our environment, you hear the sound Hum. And this is the lion's roar of the Dharma. Hum. So breathe like that. Inhale white light, fill your lungs, hear Om. Any absorption into your body, hear Ah, red light. Both together out your nose, hear the sound, blue light to the space, Hum. And my teacher, Lama Namkai Dorbu, said to make a strong connection to your root Lama and all the lineage Lamas, that all of them that do this, they all do Tara, do 10 Hums. 3 for your body, speech, and mind, 4 together that those 3 come together as one, and 3 to accomplish the Bodhisattva training of compassion, power, and insight. Hum, hum, hum. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, hum, hum. Then the Lama appears in front of you as Tara, 3 lights coming into you. The Lama blends into you. The 3 lights are now in your central channel, a white Om in the head, red Ah in the throat, blue Om in the heart center. These 3 spheres, you bring the white down into the red, both of these together into the blue Hung, and you manifest the seed-soluble Tom, green in color. Give it thickness, 3D, in a 5-colored sphere of light, which is all of the 5 elements and the 5 states of awareness combined, because they can't be separate. And now what you've done entered into the karma family of Amoghasiddhi, which affects your speech and all your actions. The element, of course, is air, developing prana. The direction is north. It is called all-accomplishing wisdom, and it is primary antidote to envy, jealousy, and any other form of abusive activity. Once you've completed the 3 lights meditation into the Hum becomes a Tom, because you project Tara to your mother and all mother beings, Om Tara Tu Tari Ture Suha, Soha around the Tom. And you concentrate in your mind, visualizing the Tom, the mantra circle, 10 letters circling the Tom. All of that light energy going through your body. You're the rainbow body of Tara in the mandala. Any part of this that you can see is the practice. When I see, I mean visualize, imagine. And the sound of your voice communicates all of this to the spirit world and other beings around you, individually and collectively. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tara Tu Re Soha. Om Tara Tu Re Soha. Om Tara Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tara 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 Tu Re Soha. Now we're combining the Tara mantra into the activity of the body, speech, and mind being auspicious, which means setting up circumstances physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for all beings to become Buddhas, and doing anything and everything in the physical body and in the bardo of becoming to accomplish that. And that Buddha energy comes under the all pervasive action of your mind, your body, and your speech together as the Buddha Amoghasiddhi. Now this Buddha is green in color, just like this Tara, and sits above Tara's head. His hand is in the posture of giving refuge with 5 fingers extended. So that's the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space, and the 5 Buddha activities of union, karma, clarity, evenness, Radhasambhava, and Amitabha, your natural mind, all together. Then this hand is in the Buddha's lap in meditation, which is what we're doing. So this Buddha is where we're going with this. This is reaching full maturity as a human being in this one mode of the air element Tara. The seed syllable changes to Yam. The Buddha's seed syllable is Ah. And you add those to the mantra. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Yam Ah So Ah. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Om Tara Tutare Ture Yama Soha Om Tara Tutare Yama Soha Om Tara Tutare Ture 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 Yama Soha Tara Tutare Ture Yama Soha Om 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 Tara Tutare Ture Yama Soha. Now, using the Greek Tara all the 12 Kagyu lineages and all of the Giglupa, Sakya, and Nyingmapa lineages use Tara, but the Kagyu uses primarily green Tara. The activity, so we are called the activity lineage. We stress action of practice, actual practice. And everything that we do in this lineage is to demonstrate that. Everything. Starting with prostrations and all the preliminary practices and all the 100 peaceful deities with their consorts and all of the wrathful deities with their consorts. It all is in Tara. Every practice, every deity, every kind of pointing out instruction on the nature of mind, all of it, every single practice is a support to every other practice. They are all equal. They may have different apps. It's like on your cell phone. Everything comes up on the cell phone in a picture. But you can have applications of particular methods to accomplish particular situations in your zone on the planet, in your time period, in your particular set of karmic circumstances with your place, environment, beings in the environment, and so forth. But the basis of all the practice is to bring out in your stream of being altruistic compassion based on loving kindness and concern for every being, insight into the true nature that everything is simply illusory, like going into a 3D movie house with your glasses on. And the power of understanding and activating those two realities in your individual situation. As a collective activation, or we say app, to all the beings in the universe equally. That's what we use the term merit, but what it means is all whatever virtuous activity you're accomplishing with the guidance of the teacher, inner and outer, is solely for the benefit of limitless sentient beings and our environment to develop naturally, without destruction, without toxin. Take care of our environment, garden the planet and garden the human beings on the planet. That's it. So at the end of your mantra session, visualizing you as Tara and all beings as Tara, and the mantra circling counterclockwise, letters facing inward, and the Tom, green Tom, all of that, creating new energy channels of light throughout your body, and then it's going out to all beings, every being in your mandala, same as you. Then you invert, or have all the sentient beings in your mandala stream into you. Now this is moving into the accomplishment phase of the tantric practice. You can do as much mantra visualization of the mandala part and say the mantra to accomplish it minimum 100,000 times. All three must be together in those 100,000 recitations. Very formal. But in the dissolution process, erase all that. It's just mind training. Yes, it gives you everything you want, remove your obstacles, fear, and so forth. Causes you to be healthy, age correctly, die with no problem. Leave the body with no problem, no regrets. But this accomplishment stage brings you into the reality of your natural mind, which exists in your heart chakra. You can't get the head chakra around it. The mental cannot encompass infinity, infinite potential to produce what's appropriate. So as these infinite sentient beings stream into you from every direction like rain into a lake, you're activating your altruistic motivation and your altruistic application of compassion. Then you, as the central figure, Tara, disappear into the heart mantra, which was created by all of that. Then starting with the Om, Tare, etc., each syllable one by one disappears into the creation sound of totality, Tom. It in a five-color sphere of light either contracts to a point, expands to the totality of space, or simply gradually disappears, which is what all concepts do anyway. Into the clear light of awareness applied to space. And you contemplate space by remaining fixated on the present moment, not allowing your childlike mind to go past or to future events or even present, which doesn't exist. Just rest in the moment. And in this state of timeless awareness, lasting happiness arises as bliss. Because the non-judgmental mind has now become liberated. Outside the box of drama. No fear or anxiety in Maha Mudra. Natural mind. Natural world. Equal. Completely sustainable. In timeless awareness. Then each of the other four taras are connected to each of the other four Buddha fields that we are purifying. So the next Tara we're going to use is the blue Tara. And she is connecting to Aksobhaya Buddha, which simply means everything is interconnected. There is no such thing as separation on any level of existence or in any dimension of being. Space cannot be separated from earth, water, fire, and air. Outside cannot be separated from inside. Future cannot be separated from past. Fear cannot be separated from bravery. Then we have what we call the four states of worldly drama: praise and blame, disgrace and fame, pleasure and pain, loss and gain. All of us are in those. The 8 worldly dharmas. And the antidote to each one of those is brought to us every day by our friends and relatives and lovers. Praise and blame, disgrace and fame, pleasure and pain, loss and gain. And then our judgment call of good and bad. Ooh. So now we do the blue Tara. We purify desire, negativity. We pacify the emotions of anger, rage, hatred, and so forth. It improves our quality of touch, which is very important. Vajrasattva Buddha field of Aksobhaya is all about form, body, water, and the direction east. And always in our meditation, we are always facing east. West behind us, south on our right, north on our left, and the center in our heart, or above our head or below. So having explained that, what is the Buddha above the blue Tara is this Buddha, Aksobhaya. Earth-touching gesture, hand on right knee, palm inward, left hand in meditation posture in the lap. This is the prevalent one of India, where the Buddha took birth. Shakyamuni Buddha. He sits above the head of the blue Tara. So it's especially good practice for dealing with people who need anger management, direction or method. It's especially powerful in dealing with fear or anxiety based on a version of what you don't like or don't want, or the sound bad. Because one person's bad is another person's good, so that doesn't work at all. Visualize the Lama in front, 3 lights into you. Lama in front, your guide blends into you. 3 lights in your forehead, throat, and heart chakra. Om Ahum, all come into the heart chakra, into the Hum. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, hum, hum. Then the sound of the mantra of Mom. It's blue Tara. And then the sound of the Buddha above her head is Hum. So those 2 are added to the Tara mantra. Your blue Tara, everybody in your mandala is blue Tara, which causes the mantra to settle in your heart center around those 2 seed syllables, Mom and Hum. Om Tara Tu Tare, Tu Re, Mom Hum Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare, Tu Re, Mom Hum Soha. Om Tara Tutare Ture Mam 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 Hum Soha. Your blue Tara, everybody, your mother, every sentient being, blue Tara. Akshabaya Buddha above your head, blue in color, like the medicine Buddha. Then the mantra Om Tara Tutara Turi Mam Om, letters facing inward, circling counterclockwise when you sound the mantra. Every color mantra is a syllable, different color. All that energy of the Mam and the Hum pouring through your heart center with the vibration of the mantra through every cell in your body, creating infinite number of what they call nadis for the prana energy of your body to flow, and then out to all sentient beings as healing energy enter your environment. Same for every being in your mandala, equal. Om Tara Tutare Ture Mam Hum Soha. 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 Om Tara Tutare Ture Om Tara Tutare Ture Mam Hum Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Om. So Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Om. So then, like before, from the creation stage, all sentient beings as blue Tara dissolve into your heart center, which now the seeds of Mom and Hum come together. Then the Buddha above your head, Akshabhaya Buddha, appears in the heart center. And all sentient beings dissolve into you as the central Tara. You dissolve into the heart mantra into the Mom and Hum in the center of that Buddha's heart. And that Buddha, Akshabhaya, this like this, just disappears into the totality of your all-pervasive nature called the Dharmakaya, the nature of space, the nature of the universe, and the nature of every human being, animal, and spirit in the universe. And you rest in the present moment in voidness, Mahamudra, bliss, no meditation. Then we move to the red Tara. Same principle. Lama in front, 3 lights into you. Lama involves into you, you become red Tara. When you're red Tara, you could, using the fire energy of radiation, connected to the seed syllable Shri, which is the all-pervasive nature of light. We call infinite light potential of your activity to produce whatever is appropriate. No limit. This takes some getting used to, so we do the mantra Tara of being Tara projected to our mother and all sentient beings, animals, humans, spirits in our mandala. With all these red Taras, then the mantra appears Om Tara Tutari Ture Ram Hri. With the Shri, the Buddha Amitabha appears above your head, the Buddha of infinite light, which is everything you think and everything you see with your eyes. Everything you imagine is this Buddha. It simply means that discerning that this state of infinite potential of producing what is appropriate with your natural mind, without an I, me, mind doing anything, is maturity. So you are maturing or purifying this energy field with red Tara, the nature of warmth, of compassion and loving kindness. She is also the manifestation of all activity of all the Buddhas, and she is also the manifestation of everything you think and see. That's red Tara. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Ram Hri. The bottom one. Soha Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Ram Hri Soha. Om Tara Tutare Ture Ram Ri Soha 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 Om Om Tara Tutare Ture Ram Ri Soha Om Tara Tutare Ture Ram Soha Om Tara Tutare Ture Ram Ri 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 Soha. In your mandala, all the red taras dissolve into you. You dissolve into the heart mantra in your heart center. The mantra dissolve one by one into the Shri in the heart of Amitabha Buddha, whose hands are in full meditation posture, right on top of left thumbs touching. He is red in colors, symbol of fire, and a rainbow of light. Then that rainbow of light and Amitabha disappear into space. The nature of your natural mind is non-judgmental awareness. That is the ultimate discerning awareness of this Buddha field of Amitabha, of infinite light. It applies to everything you see and think or imagine. See with your eye. Then you stop seeing everything as solid, fixed, and permanent, and is constantly changing, and the nature of light energy, lucid awareness, like a mirage. Stick to the present moment in bliss. Then you reappear as Tara, whichever color you like. Next Tara we're going to do is gold Tara, yellow Tara, the earth Tara. The Lama in front, projecting 3 lights into you, merges into you, you become gold Tara. The seed cycle is long. The Buddha field you are purifying is strong. That's Buddha field of the awareness of everything in a state of emotional stability, no emotional program interfering, no judgment, good, bad, high, low, ignorance, none of that. Everybody equal, no high, no low. Good, bad doesn't exist. Supreme and supernatural, gone. Antidote to arrogance, which is caused by religious activity, political, military, and all kinds of social programs from high to low through every social, cultural entity on the planet. All of it is distorting this Buddha field of equality, equanimity, equal in name, one taste. We say Ratnasambhava. So that Buddha sits above the head, Ratnasambhava, yellow. Lam and Tram. The right hand is on the left knee, palm outward, left hand in the hat, meditation posture. Tara is yellow with the sound of Lam and Tram in the heart center. Added to the mantra, the Lam is the sound of the earth element, and it looks like a 21 with a dot over it, or the letter Z with the one after it with the dot, however you want to do it. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Lam Cham Soha. 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 Tara Tu Tare Ture Lam Cham Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Lam Cham Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Lam Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Lam Cham Soha. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Lam Cham. Om Tara Tu Tare Ture Lam Cham Soha. All sentient beings go Tara, now with the long charm in the heart center, then that pulls the Buddha Ratnasambhava golden color into your heart center. Then all sentient beings golden color melt into you as the central Tara. You disappear into the mantra in your heart. It disappears into the charm, into the Buddha's heart center, in a white color sphere of light, and all of that contracts to a tiny point of light and merges into the space. No meditation, no judgment. Relax in bliss in the present moment. Whatever arises as sensations from the body disappear into space. Do not attach. Whatever arises as drama in your mind or judgment disappears into space. Do not attach. Have no attachment to the meditation methods or their results or any experiences that arise as a result from these practices. Then no fear or anxiety can ever penetrate into your natural mind. The earth body is made of light. There is no such thing as a soul. Therefore, nothing to evolve into or become. This state of highest awareness has no ceiling. It is timeless, but only in the present moment. Develop that timeless awareness. Developing this in the Ratnasambhava field of energy with the gold Tara causes one to be able to be at ease in any situation, under any circumstances that arise in the drama world. That's the nature of Mother Earth. Then finally we come to the white Tara, the space element, having to accomplish the air, the water, the earth, and the fire. This mother element is absolutely necessary in meditation practice. It is the nature of Mahamudra, voidness. She is white in color. She has the sound Vam and Om as her C syllables. All the beings in your mandala are white Tara. She has many mantras. We simply use the green Tara mantra, Om Tara Tutari Turi Vam Om Soha. Vairocana Buddha sits above her head with the hand in the gesture of the three jewels and the three roots, connecting to the earth situations, the body and mind. Compassion, power, and insight is the result. Intelligence, clarity, and understanding voidness is the means. All sentient beings are now white Tara. You're white Tara. Om Tara Tutare Ture Vam Om Soha. 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 Tara Tutare Ture Vam Om Soha. Om Tara Tutare Ture Vam Om Soha. This Buddha field is about clearing the mind of all emotional conflict, fear, anxiety, depression, or any other of the 84,000 emotional drama states that exist in the human condition, causing rebirth in the spirit world, animal world, and human world on planet. Vam is the sound of space. Om is the sound of the clarity, being clear. Added to the mantra, all obstacles to meditation are purified, and one evolves quickly to the maturity of Vairocana Buddha. Om Tara Tutare Ture Vam Om Soha. 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 Om Tara Tutare Ture Vam Tutare Ture Vam Om Soha. Tutare Ture Vam Om Soha. Om Tara Tutare Then we take the white Tara mandala, dissolve all the white Taras into the you as the central Tara, you do the superior into the Vairocana Buddha in your heart center, the Vam and Om and the five color sphere of light all become the totality of space without a boundary. Rest in that clear state of consciousness. Apply it to everything that you have a problem with. It is called Mahamudra. No meditation, no drama, bliss. Then we reappear as Waitar or whichever deity we like, whatever color code we like, whatever mantra we want to use by the advice of our Lama. Daily practice, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 or 3 hours, 6 sessions a day, middle of the night. After a while, night and day become equal, and you're doing this as a bodhisattva 24/7. Next life, no problem. Dedicate the virtue of this practice tonight and all this instruction to the benefit of all sentient beings and to our environment, Mother Earth. Kewadi Nurdu Da, Shagya Champo Drugirne, Jowa Chinking Malupa, Dei Sala Gopasho, Sanjay Kusum Nimbai Jimla Dam, Chodi Mabir Dimbai Jimla Dam, Gendu Miche Dumbai Jimla Ki, Chitar Goma Wondam, Drew Par Sho. By this virtue of having realized Mahamudra, may quickly establish all sentient beings without a single exception of that state. By the blessing of the three vehicles of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of the Dharma being unchanging, by the blessing of the wishes of the Sangha, that's us, being unwavering. May this and all dedication prayers, aspiration prayers, and Tashi prayers be accomplished. May all beings be happy, free of suffering, established in bliss and equanimity. May all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity. May all their wishes be fulfilled. Juicy Che, thank you. Mahalo. And juicy dream. Aloha.